if you're not on the same page with me and going down the same path and supporting me, or I'm supporting you, or whatever, or vice versa, how this goes, if you put off energy where it makes me, I don't want to ever feel like shit because I'm around somebody.
I am not responsible. This just kind of happened by accident. I said the word podcast in a gym one day, and this weirdo was like, hey, me too. You're not doing that movement today.
Yeah, no. Yes.
Yeah, no. Yes. Okay.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk Hard.
Podcast.
Talk Hard.
Podcast.
Talk Hard.
Podcast.
Welcome to the show, guys. We have a great show in store for you because you know why it's so good? Because it's going to be completely organic, completely off the cuff, because I have no idea what we're talking about today. Brian Gordon, what are we talking about today, my brother? I like that.
I sent over a few topics.
You did, and I didn't read them. I'm going to be honest.
One thing that hits close to home that I want to talk about today is family dynamics. Right?
Okay. I'm gonna excuse myself from the show because I know nothing about this topic.
But I think you do, because you have an interesting dynamic also. Whether it's big or small, everybody's got a family dynamic. Whether it's just your mom, just your dad, or way too many people.
Okay.
Right. So, like, personally, this comes from a place of mental health for me. So there are people in my family that I choose to keep a distance from because it's just not healthy for me. Like, if we weren't related, then I wouldn't be cool with you.
I probably wouldn't even talk to you.
I wouldn't even know who you are. I would completely choose to not acknowledge you as a human being, and I would move on with my day. So, for me, I make decisions, and that decision consists of, I'm sorry, but unless someone dies, me and you don't need to talk.
Right.
I
see you at the funeral.
Like, it's not, I don't have ill will towards them, and I use air quotes when I say that, but it's like, I just don't have anything to offer you. You're not doing anything for my life either, so what's the point? Mm-hmm. Are we just being around because family, like, blood makes you related. It doesn't make you family in my eyes. Loyalty, honesty, compassion, these things make you family to me. We don't have to be related.
Well, I couldn't agree more. First off, because I don't believe in the blood family aspect of things. I don't believe in it. I don't believe just because of your blood, we got to be loyal to one another. We got to be friends. We got to show up and have dinners together. I don't believe that because I didn't really have much of a family, so I had to create my own. And I talked to, and dude, I would lay down in traffic for you, brother.
Right.
I would.
Likewise.
Chris, I would lay in it like
we're talking like 10 a.m. traffic, Chris.
I love you, Chris. I'm just kidding. I think that's what family is. Like, I know that you would do the same for me. I would know you would jump out in front of a car. You would take a bullet, not in the chest. But in the leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had bad aim and it ended up in the chest, it would just be what it is. But I would have been a little irritated.
And I can't say that about many of my blood family. You know what I mean? So creating your world, and this is something we talk about in recovery a lot because you deal with, addicts and alcoholics who have wives or husbands or children or fathers and mothers or cousins. I don't know how deep it will go, but they're toxic. They're absolutely toxic to said person.
The wife and husband thing is a little different for me because you can leave that person, and with kids you're connected on a level, but it's not like, for me it's like mom, dad, brother, sister, things like that. I have brothers, so for me it's that part of the family. When it comes to like the spouse, it's like I can make that decision easier, and I feel other people can too, to walk away from that toxic part.
I don't know if people can.
Then I know. You would hope they could. In theory they can, because you can't get rid of other parts of your family like you can divorce someone. It's different. But
we have a saying called, it's love them from afar.
Yeah.
I do. I have people in my family that you just mentioned, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, cousin. I have family that I absolutely love. Do I want to be around them? No, not necessarily. I don't. And I have other family members who I absolutely refuse to be around, but if they died or, I would go to their funeral.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
pay my respects, but I choose. I have the ability today to choose who I let in my life, and I don't care if that's family.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I treat them the same way I would anybody off the street that I met, because either we're in this together and you're with me and I'm with you, and on some level, like, we can fight. That's fine. We can get over it because we're adults. But then there's other people that it's just like, I don't like the passive aggressive and you think you can do this because you're related to me. Like, no, kick rocks, homie. Like, we're not cool like that. It's not gonna be
you're
like
my
that.
cousin, bro.
Okay.
We cousins.
And you can tell people that if you want to be cool to somebody, you can tell them that you know me, but I'm not going to do the same.
Yeah, no.
So for me, it's that mental health aspect that I want people to understand. The gravity of mental health starts often in the household, and it comes from this dynamic that, well, your family. Okay. On some level, I'm going to say, okay, I'll always love you. Like, I don't have like this intention to harm you, but I don't need to have you in my life.
Can I say this too? Because I think, I don't know the percentage. I don't know the statistics, but I would say a very large percentage, like in the high 80s, of most of our traumas come from our immediate families.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, but people get attached to that. You grow up in that. You grow up in that. It's
comfortable.
You grow up in that, right? You grow up in that chaos, that misery that could be toxicity of your parents, right? You get comfortable with that. You don't know any different. And then you seek that out later on in life in a relationship, and then you keep those people in your life, in your circle, because one, it's comfortable, like you said. Two, you're afraid of like hurting people, because we're people pleasers at this point. We're probably all sorts of different things. We've just went through all kinds of trauma as a child, stuff we don't even know is trauma. Until it comes back later, and we're banging heroin in a trap house, and then we're like, why do we do this? And then we go see a therapist, and we realize because my dad didn't love me, or something like that,
right?
Or even worse, right? But we get afraid to disconnect from those people because it's all we know, and we get used to it, and it's comfortable, and we don't really just think that we don't really know that we deserve better, and it's hard to love yourself when you grow up in a toxic environment and you get in toxic relationships, and you just, everything is toxicity at that point, because first and foremost, we don't know how to love ourselves. And it's sad to watch. It's really, you work with people and they're in toxic relationships because they had a toxic childhood, because of this, because of that. There's always a because.
Right.
And you try to work with them and you tell them, look, man, I don't care if you love him or her. That doesn't mean shit. Love. Tina Turner said it best. What's love got to do with it? Right? Honestly, and that girl took a beating.
Right.
Girl took a beating. Ike. Hashtag F Ike. No, but for real though, it's really hard to break away from toxicity when you don't believe that you deserve any better than that. And the same goes with your family.
A lot of times comes from not knowing any different.
Right.
Right. So when you don't realize what you could have, then what you have is what you accept.
That's a bumper sticker for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what, like, when you have nothing to compare it to, then that just is your normal.
And that's something that we all, as people that come into early and spent 5, 10, 20 years in addiction, and they come into recovery, and we're standoffish and what do you want from me type attitude, and,
right.
And in recovery, nobody really wants anything from you. They want to see you grasp the concepts of changing your mindsets, and grasp the concepts of 12 steps and a new life, and changing everything about yourself. And that's difficult. Like, I'm sure and we all know that's like, no, seriously though, what the F you want?
Right.
I got nothing in my pockets. What do you want from me?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think the same goes with breaking away, and when you're in that for so many years, and then you find somebody who's actually healthy, whether it be a relationship or a friend or you're just like, this is odd. This is weird. And
Right.
when's this shoe gonna drop? Because
Right.
this doesn't seem right.
Like there are certain things I'll sacrifice and certain things that I won't. Like when I moved here from California, my biggest like issue was I don't want to leave my mom and dad. Like I am their biggest helper. They call, they need something, I'm the first person at the house.
Right, right.
Even if it's something like I can't figure out how to turn the TV on, right? Because my parents are older and technology, right? So I'd be the first one there. And I'm just like, at some point, it's like, I have to, for me, make this journey.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't love you. It's because I'm not the best version of me right now. And that's what I know you ultimately want for me. And it ended up working out because my parents moved out, to Indiana too. But if I had to make another move,
they were like, bro, I can't turn this damn TV on. Let's go to Indiana.
Like if I had to make another move that'd be best for me and my wife, and my parents couldn't go, then I would find another way to make it work.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna live my life on a lower level and because they don't want me to.
Yeah,
They support that, and that's fine. There's the other dynamic of family that will hold you down. Because they're so scared of you reaching this pillar of what they consider an excellence that they'll never get to, that they're always like pulling you back down and pulling you back down to their level. And people suffer for it. Well, it's family. Like, well, I can't. That's my mom, or that's my dad, or that's my brother, or that's my cousin. It's like, I get it, but that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have resentment.
Oh, God.
Guaranteed.
Then
You're going to be standing at that funeral. Man, I'm so glad this finally happened. Now I can get away.
Ain't that crazy, though?
Like,
because you will.
For sure.
Yeah. You like, man, finally.
Right.
And that's what, and then you start feeling bad about feeling that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's this the biggest thing for me with mental health and change, because I also brought that up and why it's so hard for people to change, is it's scary for starters because you don't know what's on the other side. But I'm going to argue that you don't know what's on the other side because you don't know how to create the other side yet.
And you never will.
You can know what's on the other side if you choose to create it. Like, this is the life I am going to live, and nothing is going to stop me. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. I'm going to travel my path because this is where I'm going to go. And no matter what gets in my way, I've got somewhere to be.
I think there's a point where every person on their path, whether, be 16, 13, 35, or 55, I think there's a point, and hopefully it happens younger. I was 35 before I hit this point, but I think there's a point where people hit and they just said, you know what? Everything that I thought was real, everything that I've been holding on to, and everything that holds on to me, I have to change. I have to. It's about, even in addiction. We're very selfish and self-centered in our addictions, right? But yet we're not in the same sense. And this is strange because all we want to do is be around these other people who are selfish and self-centered, and everybody's codependent on the other person. And the whole thing about surrender and rock bottoms, and why rock bottoms are so important to people, is because you finally get to a point where there's nothing left and no one left.
But see, that's what I hate. Like, and I'm trying to really get it out there to everybody that you don't have to hit rock bottom.
Oh,
you
God,
really don't. Like, most people change when they have to.
Yes. Consequences.
Right? Like, that is usually the existence of change. And if it's not serious enough, then they go right back.
Yeah.
Because they go back to the comfort.
Living
and
proof.
they miss out on so many things that they wanted, or that they desired, or that they dreamed about, because, I just can't get there. Well, in your head, if you're saying I can't get there, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's whether you can or whether you can't, you're right. Like, whether you say you can or you can't, that's how it is.
Yes.
It's all up to you.
It's a fact at that point.
So you don't have to hit rock bottom. Change the stupid thing that's hard for me is that there's so much writing on the wall. There are so many red flags and so many signs and so many irritations and so many things that keep happening, and you just keep getting irritated about it, and you're like, I'm over it. And then the next day it's the same. And then you're frustrated and you're pissed off, and now you're having anxiety attacks and you don't even know why. Well, because you've been in an anxiety attack for so long that now your brain just thinks that's normal.
Right.
And now you could be cruising down the street and have an anxiety attack and you're like, I'm going crazy. No, your brain just is so used to getting to anxiety attacks that sometimes it'll fire off for no reason at all. It's just how the brain's wired. So if you want to create real change and you want to make an impact, you got to start seeing the writing on the wall and be honest about it. Like if you're irritated about something and your excuse is, well, it's family, you're the problem now. And I have no sympathy for you. Zero. I do not feel bad for you. I am not empathetic for you. I have zero sympathy for you because you get to live no matter who you are, you're destined for greatness.
The thing about, I love what you said. You don't have to hit a rock bottom. And you don't have to be in a place, because there is so much information out here. There are so many people out here talking about how there's people out here giving their stories about their rock bottoms and about their codependencies and about how they latched onto certain things that were toxic and they kept latched onto them for 10 years and they got nowhere with it. There's so many stories and support groups and people out here on the social media talking about, okay, because 10 years ago there wasn't. And 10 years ago, you could have told me that you didn't have a clue that you could do these things. But not today. Not today. There's all this self-help. There's all this mental health awareness. There's all this good stuff going on out here. People talking and telling their stories. And you can learn from other people.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, you can start to look inside and the red flags that you talked about, which are, I guarantee if you guys looked at your life right now, you will see multiple a day.
1,000%. Multiple.
But not only that, like, I have a very strong, big threshold for pain. You know what I mean? Like, pain, they say, is I believe pain is the price of admission into anything. Mm-hmm. When you've had enough pain, you're going to make some changes.
I believe it is the typical price of admission.
Okay.
I also believe it doesn't have to be.
And that's where I was going.
That's the biggest thing that we're talking about here is that you can hit rock bottom and then have no choice. That's okay.
That's like, what I did. That's what I did.
Right. But then I hit rock bottom and then I came out of it. But it wasn't, no. And now I'm here. I'm good. Like, I'm sober. I'm good. Life is good. I'm working. I'm paying my bills. Married. Life is good.
You have joy in your life. By
all standards of people. I have, money in the bank. Yeah. I have a wife that loves me. I got family that's around me that I choose to have around me. Like, good friends. Life is good. But it's, no. Like, now my new addiction is what's next.
Well, because it's real, you have to be that way. We have to. I believe we have to be that way. You and I, Brian, because if we get complacent, which basically if we get comfortable just being where we're at, like it's like climbing a mountain. You don't stop climbing a mountain, because what happens when you're climbing a mountain, you stop, you're going to start sliding back down.
Right.
We got to constantly be climbing, and it's always, because if I get comfortable and I get complacent and I say this is enough, I won't ever say that consciously. It'll be a, an unconscious thought of I'm good. I'm good is the enemy of greatness. The enemy of what's next, the enemy of sliding backwards, and I believe if we get to a point like you, like life is good. Like I got things going on. I've made some gains in my life. I feel comfortable. I don't worry about financial. I don't have to worry about my relationship. I don't have to, all these, just like in a relationship, if you stop working at your relationship, it's going to get complacent. It's going to get it's going to grow mold on it because it isn't moving. And the next thing you know, you're having problems and resentments and things are going out crazy. And I think that's just the way we are. What's next?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I climbed my mountain, right? Get out of the addiction, get into a better place. Like when I recently had my teeth done, I was scared. I mean, they were brutal. They're chopping up my mouth.
They're brutally.
Like I had bruises all down. Like my whole bottom of my jaw was bruised. And when I went in there, the doctor was like, "What about pain meds?" I said, "Nope. If ibuprofen won't take care of it, I don't want it."
Tough son of a bitch, right there.
And the thing is like I am in a different place in my head now, so I do believe that I could have taken pain pills and it not turned into an addiction because I understand it better. It's not worth it. To me, it's not even worth the possibility of that body addiction coming up and me having to suffer for it.
And there is a possibility.
100%.
Yes.
Like, I know it's there. I know it's possible. It's not even worth it to me. I'll just endure this because I've been through worse.
Yes.
So with those things, it's like now I got to the top of that mountain and I'm like, okay, that was cool. Next. You know, it's like the bodybuilding thing. It was like, I just wanted to get in the best shape of my life and stand on stage. Check.
Did it.
And then people were like, you're going to do it again? I'm like, no, I did it. Like, why?
First off, no. Second off, it kind of sucked. You know, it was hard.
It was definitely hard, but
very difficult.
I enjoyed the journey. I learned a lot, and I'll do it later when it's harder.
Yeah.
You know, once you're in that shape, then doing a show the following year isn't as tough, because as long as you can maintain a decent body fat percentage and then you just have to shred down, it's not nearly as rough.
Yeah.
But when I'm 50 and everything hurts more because now I've been beating my body up even more and I'm older, then I'll try it again because now it's harder.
I want to ask people though in the comments, if you guys will, like, you know, if you guys can relate to this, if you guys are in a place where you've plateaued or where you've become complacent or where you've climbed a mountain and you've checked the box, like what is next for you?
Absolutely.
You know, I want you guys to put it down there. What's next for you? What's your next journey that you're going to embark on, or are you comfortable being where you're at? And I want to question you on that. Do you think that's dangerous, being comfortable, just staying where you're at? You know, if
you're comfortable and you're okay, then you better be financially stable. You better be in a healthy. Now, this is just my opinion, but for the people that are like good with their life, they're usually good relationship. They got kids and a job that pays the bills and can provide enough where they're putting away a nest egg. They've got a retirement plan they're working on. Like I've got a friend right now that's been working for the county, city, state, something like that. He's got a retirement, and his goal was, I just want to get to a certain age, retire early enough that I can pay my bills and just chill. I just want to chill and watch my kids grow up.
Yeah.
And that is happiness for him.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that. If that's really what you want, and he understands when he talks to me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm working. You're always working. Damn straight. Because I'm trying to find the biggest mountain I can find.
Yeah.
One that I can't get to the top of. I want to die on the way up that mountain.
Yeah. I get that.
That's the way I'm wired.
I get that.
So if I find a mountain and I get to the top, I'm like, cool, then find me another one. There has to be a bigger one. And I'll climb back down that SOB and I'll go at it again. I don't care if I got to climb the similar mountain 60 times. I'm going to die going up a mountain.
Love it.
Period.
Love it.
That's just how I'm wired, though. Now, granted, I didn't have kids, but I also feel like, for me, it's spiritual. I feel like God didn't want me to have kids because my job is to inspire other kids of America and be available for that and not be so consumed by, because I'm all in. Yeah. If I had kids, that'd be my life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I can't give back as much as I am now, and I can't sacrifice as much as I do now. But for me, with the family dynamic, it's like, why do you have to reach a limit where you finally want to like beat up your family member before you're like, okay, I'm done? Just distance yourself, and people change. Like, you'll find your way back if it's meant to be. But if it's toxic, unhealthy, if you leave these, I cannot stand, and it's been a while for me since we've had this, so that's where it's getting so much harder for me to be okay with. In my family now, the dynamics I have with my wife, and my mother-in-law is amazing, and all of us get along. Like, my mom hangs out with her mom, and like we're all like, they all do craft day, and I do it sometimes, but then I realize that some of their crafts I just can't do or choose not to do. And so for me, it's like I don't dread Thanksgiving. I don't dread Christmas. We don't fight.
Yeah. We
don't have that stupid dynamic that most people do, because I've separated that part of my family because it has existed in my family, and I'm no longer part of that dynamic.
I've said this recently, like in my, I choose today, and I have the ability, because I have the knowledge and the willpower to do so, but I have the ability to choose who I let in my world. And if anybody in my world, you know, you've seen the memes about energies, and I just don't like certain energies around. Mm-hmm. I don't either. And I feel that. And I felt that meme when I saw it. It's like, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just don't want to be around certain energies. And I don't either. You know, and some things you just know by the energy in the room when somebody comes in, or when you're around somebody. And I have the ability to choose not to be around it. And the same way goes with anybody else. I don't care if it's a relationship, a friendship, a family member, my dad, my mom. I don't care who it is. feel like shit because I'm around somebody. And I choose not to, and I won't. If you make me feel like I don't, you know what I mean? You be around people like that, just no. I will cut you out of my life, bro. And I'm not going to be apologetic about that. And I'm not going to be mad at you about that. I just don't want you around my life. I can love you. You can stay over there.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm like that, and I don't care.
There's a difference in our dynamic, and this is what I'm wanting to encourage. So if you're out there and you're listening right now, I want you to understand that if you, in your core, like I believe that I am like an amazing human being.
Right, I agree.
I care about people. I will do anything for you and not expect anything in return. I don't keep score. I don't go down that road. If I give out money, I don't expect it back. Now, if you tell me you're going to give it, I'm going to want you to hold up to your word. But if you don't, it's not about the money at that point. It's about what you said.
Yeah.
It's not the financial part of it. It's that you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Yeah. That's what I have a problem with. And so for me, the dynamic is just, I'm honest. And in the core of me, I'm okay with that. Like, I know I go to bed at night and I put my head down and I'm like,
I'm good.
I'm good.
I did good today.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're struggling with these thoughts that you're not good enough, you're wrong. And I'm just going to tell you you're wrong.
Absolutely.
Because I follow a YouTuber and he says this all the time. Every decision you've ever made in your life has led you up to this moment right here, right now. That's a fact.
And you're right where you're supposed to
be. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
Good, bad, or indifferent. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. So embrace it.
When you're in the bad, though, it's hard. It's hard to see that. But I tell you what, every bad situation I've ever been in, with deaths, with prisons, with jails, with homelessness, with horribly addicted, withdrawals, all just people dying around me, all of that has made me who I am today. And I'm not sure, there's only a few things in my life that if I had the power of God, I would change. The rest of it, you know what? It formed me, it created me, and it made me the person I am today. And I'm like you. I think, and I at my core, I know I'm a good person and I do good things. And period. You know,
that's where I'm at. Like for me, again, it's spiritual, and I'll never deny God in my life. So for me, when I'm having a bad day, I typically smile and I look up. I'm like, all right, God, what's next?
What's up?
What's up? I see you, and I get it because I need to have this day so that when it's a good day, it's that much better.
Yeah.
Because I want those bad days. I want to embrace those bad days because there was somebody else that posted something. Failure doesn't mean that you haven't succeeded. It's a part of success.
My whole world is built off a foundation of failures.
Yeah, I screw up all the time.
Foundation.
I have to learn that way.
I do not grow. I do not. I can become incredibly I don't know what unhumble is. That the right word?
Sure. Today it is #unhumble.
Not humble. I can be incredibly not humble and not have any humility if I just keep going. But when something comes along and hurts my feelings, smacks me in the face, breaks my heart, lies to me, cheats, whatever, that's when I have to take a step back and I become incredibly humble. And humility is very important to me. And I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I'm Marty Norman. I can lose track of shit by getting caught up in all the rat race of life and success and doing the things that I do. And it's like you can get so caught up that I can get so caught up that something has to punch me in the face and hurt my feelings to where I'm like, and I don't get mad at the thing that punches me in the face. And I don't get resentful at the thing that punches me in the face. I have to take a step back and look inside and go, oh, okay, thanks. I needed that. Thank you for that. I needed that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't grow if I'm not struggling. Period. When everything is running smoothly, I seem to be going with it. But I embrace the struggle.
You have to on some level, and if you're going through something right now, so I want to leave everybody with this: if you're struggling right now, do something about it because you are not bound by your failures. They are put there for you to grow. And there has to be a shift for any mental health to go anywhere in this world. You've got to stand up for yourself. Stop being so damn scared of everything because most of the time you're afraid of what you think might happen and most of the time won't.
Which is typically...
We're always afraid of the expected outcome, not the actual outcome. And if you don't like the expected outcome, change it.
Yeah.
How do you change that? You change the dynamics of it. And you have every power inside of you to do that. When you talk about energy, we are an actual energy
Correct.
being. Like, you can feel the energy when someone comes in a room and they're just pissed off. You're like, damn. Mm-hmm. You can also feel the energy when it comes up in the room and they're hyped up. You like, you just want to smile a little bit.
Just want to be around that, you know what I mean? Like, let me have more of that.
Watching like AGT the other day, and there was just an energy that came through when someone started singing. I got the chills and it like hit me. You
Love
know,
it,
like that type of energy. And we're talking about something
That's
on TV,
what I
but that's an energy.
Dude, that's the shit I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, if you give me the chills, we're cool.
I want to be around that.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're struggling, reach out, say something. Stop being so afraid of what people might think is wrong with you, because I guarantee just as much is wrong with every other person in your life. You're not alone. You are better than them when you can admit to it.
And you have survived 100% of all your struggles. You know that, right?
Absolutely.
So the scenarios, like I have this alcoholic mind, and this alcoholic mind is always waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's all like, there's so many scenarios going on in this head all day long that, you know, that I'm not even aware of. And 99% of all the scenarios that play out in my head never happen. They're never as bad as I think they will be. And everything usually works out just fine, you know?
I built my life today doing everything that everybody said I shouldn't.
Everything.
Don't tattoo your face because you'll never get a good job. Wrong. Don't do this because it won't work out. Wrong. Like, it won't work out for you.
But
everything works out fine for me.
That's right.
Right?
Hey, everything they said I couldn't do, I've done twice.
I'm going to live this life doing every single thing that I wanted to do, regardless of what happened, as long as no one gets hurt in the process that isn't me.
Yes.
As long as I'm not in some way responsible for what happens to somebody else because of a decision I've made, and it solely lands on them. Like, I'm not going to go gamble my house away and then be like, well, babe, I just want to live my life.
I just want to be free.
That's not how that works. But you tell me I can't do something, and in my core, like, I follow my energies. So you think with your mind, you think with your heart, you think with your gut. And when they all align, you feel it. Mm-hmm. And when I feel that alignment, nothing is stopping me.
That's the attitude we all should take.
Listen to yourself, reach out, talk about it, be okay with it. Stop caring about what other people think, because an inward reflection leads to an outward perception. So you got to understand that if anybody's got a problem with you, it's their own problem, actually.
Have a great day. Like, subscribe, share this out with your friends who need to hear this.
Absolutely.
We love you guys. See you next week.
All right.